We are now only one day away from Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, and while it hasn't actually been that long since the game was first announced, it has felt like an eternity. I was invited to try the game out, and after completing it 3 times, I noticed that there was something new to discover on each playthrough. As an absolute veteran of the original game, it almost felt weird at times how unfamiliar the game can feel. Because for the most part, it feels like you're playing the same old game that you know and love. But then there's these little moments where you experience a new weapon, or you discover a new way to complete a mission, and it just completely challenges your memory of the game. I think a lot of longtime players are going to be genuinely surprised at just how new the game feels, which I think continues to challenge whether or not this is a remaster or a complete remake. There is going to be many new players to Dead Rising who will be trying out the Deluxe Remaster as their first experience to this game. Personally, I think a new player can enjoy the remaster potentially even more than the original game. It's been modernized in a way where it's no longer a chore to play. The controls have been improved and features have been added to cut down on the long waiting periods the game has. It's a version of Dead Rising that feels a little bit more freeing, and it lets you play the way that you want to play it. But it does so while still remaining respectful to the original DNA. As everyone knows, the original game was so picky about how you played it, and it absolutely never held your hand. The original game felt like it was made by aliens, and it just expected the player to deal with it. Now let's get one thing straight, the Deluxe Remaster hasn't exactly been nerfed, as it is still plenty difficult and has most of the original quirks and even bugs. But enough of the game has been redesigned for a person who is maybe more casual, or doesn't have all the time in the world. But of course, it also remains respectfully difficult to a veteran player who is still expecting to get a challenge out of this. Dead Rising is known for being a difficult and unforgiving game to play, and the Deluxe Remaster is completely aware of that. I consider the changes made to the game as just an extra layer of icing on what was already a wonderful cake. Like I've said before, nothing particularly feels out of place in the remaster, and while some of the changes may alter the dynamic of how you play the game, none of which feel like they've been included just for the sake of adding things. Most of these new features are just things that were cut from the original game anyhow. Using the rocket launcher is so cathartic, knowing that it's a weapon we were never supposed to have. And after all these years, now we do. Saving the game while playing Infinity Mode is something we've been doing with mods for years, but now it's just officially part of the game. I've noticed countless new features added into the game that might only be a coincidence, but they are eerily similar to things we've been wanting, which just continues to prove my point that I think Capcom has paid some level of attention to what goes on behind the scenes. You really do see the attention to detail Capcom has spent on every inch of this game, and it's nothing short of heartwarming to actually witness it. The realistic lighting throughout the mall continues to be my favorite improvement, and I think it goes without saying that it's just a gorgeous game to look at. After numerous playthroughs, I still take a second to observe things, and I'm still shocked at how good it looks. Dead Rising has no business looking this good, so it's a bit surreal at times. That said, however, I think this game still has a little bit of work to do. I've encountered problems in the game that I suspect come from using a new engine, and while they are hardly a deal breaker, I do hope that they get addressed. For whatever reason, you can't shoot through fences on the rooftop anymore, and even more bizarre, you can't open cardboard boxes by jumping on them. Throughout my time playing the game, I noticed a handful of things that are just a little bit off. And I don't think it's a porting bug or laziness. I think it's purely because the game is running on an engine that it wasn't designed for, and it's gonna bring some unexpected issues. If you know Dead Rising like the back of your hand, you will notice that a few things are just a little bit off. However, Capcom has been getting more feedback from the various beta tests and reviews than I think most people even know, and they have definitely been paying attention to bugs and criticism leading up to launch. I am hardly a reviewer, and I certainly won't try to sell you on a product. But no matter what, Dead Rising is my all-time favorite game, and the Deluxe Remaster has given me such an incredible way to re-experience the game all over again. It really did make me feel like it was 2006 again, and not many things could do that. I can't overstate that enough. I'm excited to see everyone's reaction to the game tomorrow, and I hope to hear your thoughts or reviews in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching.